Welcome to Charts Chatter with Chatur Charts, the 6th June 2022 edition. In yesterday's session, we had covered Nifty and how a day trading could be executed on the short side with the help of the 5 secrets that I had shared. On the same day, on 3rd of June 2022, Bank Nifty also presented an excellent short candidate, and this is demonstrated in today's video. I'd mentioned that Nifty was a short a little while later in the day, after maybe the first hour of the day, but Bank Nifty presented itself as a right-away shorting candidate from the word go. So let's examine using the 5 secrets as to how we could have traded Bank Nifty profitably, very, very profitably on that particular day. So here is the Bank Nifty chart. And as I had said, the first step towards determining how you're going to trade and what time frame you're going to trade is very, very critical. And for a huge gap up of about 300 plus points with which Bank Nifty opened up, it is very important to determine the time frame of the trade after the first 15 minutes to 30 minutes. So so before we could determine the time frame, I activated the Bollinger Band, and this is the Bollinger Band. So right now, the place where my cursor is, at 9:15 on 3rd of June, Bank Nifty opened with a big bang with about 300 points plus at 35,925. And so this was 929. This was the open. And it made a small high of about 25 odd points to touch 35,952. So that was the day's high. So with the Bollinger Band activated and the kind of detailed explanation that I provided as to how volatility is determined, you will see that this candle opened outside the Bollinger Band. And as I stated, the candle cannot remain far too long outside the Bollinger Band, and it has to come inside. So the next 15 minutes, it briefly touched the outer edge of the Bollinger Band. And the third candle that you see was inside the Bollinger Band. So, the Bollinger Band had started curving. So, which means that in as early as 30 minutes at about 9:45, the volatility had kind of ebbed a bit, and the price point came inside the Bollinger Band. But what is important to see is that the price action that has formed is kind of losing steam, because with every passing candle, the price is making a lower low and a lower high. So this is very, very crucial to determine as to how the rest of the day is going to be kind of evolving for the index or the stock. So having determined that 15 minutes is a good time frame for me to trade short on this stock, the pattern that got formed is a failed breakout pattern. This is a classic example of a failed breakout, or this is a classic pattern of a bear strike. So this is a bear strike or a bear counter strike. So this is called a bear counter strike because the bulls attempted to take the index higher with a lot of power. For a candle to open outside the Bollinger Band with so much of ferocity requires a lot of buying power. So with all their buying power, they tried to push Bank Nifty up, but the bears were stronger and there was a counter strike from the bears, and they were successful in pushing the price down in flat 30 minutes. So in this case of failed breakouts, generally the price fails to sustain the high and starts collapsing. Now, there could be days when the bears have a brief victory and they try to push the price down. They are successful for the first hour, but later on the bulls come rampaging back. So here is where we need to apply the 5 secrets to see whether our trade direction that we have chosen is correct or not. So now, having got used to this kind of patterns and with experience, I personally had a very clear indication that Bank Nifty will not be able to sustain this high, and eventually it could break down. But the market is supreme, and any analyst or any expert or any trader can be easily kind of overpowered with what the market does, because the market is supreme. And so I need to validate my findings, not with gut, not with emotion, not with my style of thinking, but with hard facts. And here is where the 5 top secrets that I've shared come in handy. So point number 1, time frame 15 minutes, decided, tick in the box. Point number 2, the Bollinger Band expansion contracts and the candle comes right inside this resistance line. If you notice, the previous day's close was at 35,638. From there, it made a 300-point gallop. So it kind of crossed this hurdle at 35,703. So thereafter, the next day when it opened, it came and rested on this support line. So Bank Nifty, after the first hour, came and took support at this resistance level. So this resistance level, which it had crossed over earlier in the day, eventually became a support. So here it was interesting for me to find out as to what Bank Nifty does. And this was a very, very crucial zone. If you see here, for about 1.5 hours, Bank Nifty spent time around this zone, around this support zone, also because the purple line that you see here is our third secret, that is the ATMA. So point 1, 15-minute time frame. Point 2, Bollinger Band break. Point 3, it spent time on the ATMA to see whether the ATMA offers support. So I had already shorted it on this candle, and I had kept the stop loss at this resistance level. The next resistance level on the upper side was 36,200. So I had kind of decided that eventually, the next resistance level was at 36,013. So I had already placed a stop loss at 36050, and I had shorted Bank Nifty at 35,950. So I had a 100-point stop loss, and my target was not decided at that point of time. So I was waiting for it to see as to what it does. So at 35,950, when I had shorted, in about 1.5 to 2 hours time, Bank Nifty was already about 200 points down from the day's high, and it was sitting on ATMA. So I had no reason to worry, because my shorting point was 200 points above, and I was already 200 points in the profit. So I had no worry or tension. But the only thing I wanted to reconfirm is that what does Bank Nifty do at ATMA, which also happened to be the support at 36,700. So here are twin supports. The support of ATMA coupled with a horizontal support. So every stock or index tends to spend some time around this zone. But exactly at about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, ATMA was given away. And exactly at the 12:15 candle, the Bank Nifty broke down from 35,700, and it made a low of 35,621. So I was already in the money for about 300 points, because I had shorted at 35,950, and Bank Nifty had broken down to already at 35,621. Now I could have easily moved out of the transaction, because I was into a plus of about 300 points, and I could have booked the profit. But there was no reason for me to book profit, because out of the 5 secrets, 3 was already into my kitty. 1 was the trading time frame of 15 minutes, the Bollinger Band compression, and the ATMA break. So I had 2 more checkpoints to wait for. Now, sequentially, MACD, which is the most powerful breakpoint, here at 11 a.m., MACD has given a sell signal. So this is confirmation number 4. So even at 12 o'clock, when ATMA had broken, Even before that, MACD had given a sell signal. Now, if you notice, from 11 a.m. in the morning, right through the day, MACD, the 1226 blue line cut into the 9 MACD line and it dropped below and with a enlarging histogram on the negative side. And at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, MACD plunged below zero. So on a day like this, when on a 15-minute time frame, MACD goes negative and plunges below the zero line, the possibility and the probability of MACD again bouncing back and reversing is less. Not that it cannot happen, but it is far too in lesser situations. So this is confirmation number 4 that there was no hurry for me to exit the trade and book the profits. So I wanted to wait and see as to how much more profit can this trade give me. So with the 8 EMA also broken and the MACD also giving a signal of sell, all that I had to do was wait for the ADX, which is the last of the lagging indicators, to decide and give me a sell signal. So let's go and find out as to what time the ADX gave a sell signal. So if you notice here, the ADX gave a sell signal at about 12:30 in the afternoon. So that was at a point where Bank Nifty had already plunged below 35,428. So from a shorting point of 35,428, Bank Nifty had already lost about 500 points intraday. And this was a situation where retrieval was very, very difficult because the gap, the price point from a price action standpoint, the 8 EMA stood far higher than the price or the candlesticks that you're seeing. And thereafter, it started continuously falling. Now, if you see, there is a channel support line. This black line is the channel support line. Now, many a times at the channel support line, the price tends to take support. So here is where you saw these two green candles trying to re-enter and capture 8 EMA. But this channel support line eventually proved to be a resistance. And from this point, exactly at 2:15 in the afternoon, there was heavy selling in Bank Nifty. And finally, this position got closed out at about 2:45 in the afternoon when Bank Nifty was at 35,200. So this is one sure shot way by which, after knowing these secrets, if you were to start practicing and applying them sequentially in the order in which I have kind of explained, in situations like this, you can really, whether Bank Nifty is on the long side or whether it is on the short side, these can be applied and you can hold the trade right till the end. So almost 750 out of the 900-point collapse. Overall, my Bank Nifty lost about 900 points throughout the day. So around 700 points of that could have been easily captured and profit could be booked. So now if this is on a 15-minute time frame, now if you were to do an hourly check to find out whether on the hourly chart, whether the candlestick patterns or the chart patterns are kind of showing any bullishness, one can even check that. So if you notice, the entire 7 candles of the day are red, and this is total bearishness. So if you notice on the hourly chart also, outside the Bollinger Band, you see the first candle, the second candle inside the Bollinger Band. Thereafter, on the hourly charts at about 11:30, 8 DMA on hourly is also given away. And thereafter, there is a complete breakdown. And eventually, Bank Nifty tested 35,184 from a high of 35,952. So more than 800 points kind of a collapse. So this is one way that one can trade Bank Nifty very, very profitably using these 5 indicators in conjunction with each other. I hope you found this video useful. And if you liked it, please press the like button. Please share, subscribe. and share it. Also distribute it amongst your the trading community. And if you do want me to cover more topics, please do let me know, and I'll be happy to do the same. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.